The April meeting for Land and Facilities Committee to order. We'll go ahead and start off with a roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Tina Babin.
Here.
Ms. Valerie Bourgeois.
Here.
Mr. Henry Lafont. That is quorum.
Item 2, Roe Flores Positary to receive a report from Mr. Andy Positary on Thibodeau Middle School.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thibodeau Middle School, the report is extremely short tonight. Fortunately or unfortunately, I have less and less to tell you. But since the last time we met, and everybody's probably seen it, they took the last building down that was on the East Thibodeau side. Right now they're focusing on what the former West Thibodeau side. They laid out the rest of the driveway that connects staff parking to 12th Street. We made a slight deviation to get around Oak Tree. So that's staked out right now. If you pass by, you'll see a lot of sticks with some more pink flags around it. So the road is getting staked out. The detention pond and the subsurface drainage that's under that's all getting staked out. They'll start forming the road next. So anyway, their big focus is to get the road, the detention pond, and the rest of the parking done. And on the East Thibodeau side, there's really not much left. A little bit of fine grading that's left, but by end of June, early July, they should be finished with all of that work. So continuing to progress, and of course, they're still continuing to work on punch list items in the new building as they come up. Which, again, as I said last time, it's expected that they'll come up with a few little things that need to be tweaked. So they're still working on it. Happy to take any questions if y'all have them.
Very timely with Earth Day that you deviated around the tree.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I'm so glad you went around the tree.
Yes.
We did, yes. Now we're going to lose a little crepe myrtle tree, but compared to the big oak trees, those should be okay. They'll get trimmed, but they'll stay.
There's a big long phase of groundwork going on now, but
Yeah.
it's that finish line.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 3, All South, Mr. Bob Bernard, to receive a report from Mr. Bob Bernard on All South Consulting on Hurricane Ida damages. Good evening.
Good evening. Right, we'll go straight to the slides, actually. Right, go down memory lane here, South Lafourche. 2 years, 8 months ago, that's taken right after the hurricane. That's brown water still on the floor, right? Old seating, so go to the next. It's a different perspective, and then we'll continue on. So that was, when they came back, right? Thompson had just started the work. Scaffolding was started. That was work just beginning, and then next is a completed project, right? So that's it, all cleaned up. In fact, Thompson turned over the keys, I think, this week. Well, he didn't officially, right, John? He kept them just in case. He said, they had to come back for a few things, which they do. They have a
I
few
think Sam
questions.
would rather if he had a key permanent.
I think
they
you're
loved
right.
him that much.
Yeah, you're right. Thompson did a really good job. And then next one is from the stage looking out. So Fire Marshal went last week. Then I think they gave occupancy, so it's good to occupy for any functions they need to do. The only thing left is the stage lighting. That was a long lead item. They're going to be starting that in May. That's not a lot of work, but it'll be finished up by then. Okay.
But he will host award night and ring night.
So that's pretty much going to be it at South Lafourche, except for cheer and ROTC. Obviously, we have that to do. We'll be talking more about that in the coming meetings, and also potentially the press boxes for the baseball and softball field. Okay, this is a band building. Hard to believe that's temporary, but that's a temporary band building finished, and this too is ready for, is occupied. Next one. That's at Golden Meadow Upper, right? You can keep going. Again, I look at this thing. But you have to do it. It's all part of code, and you have to do all of these things: the lighting, the railing, the decking, everything that goes with it. Next one. ADA ramp. You can continue on. That's it on the interior. We were there today. The band teachers laid it. They happy. She's getting all set up, and they filled up that space quick. I was surprised. I thought it would be more than they needed, but they filled it up. Okay, next one. So this was one of the change orders to do some additional roofing at Raceland Upper. some things that got missed. And you can kind of tell the new green roof is what they're finishing up. You can continue on. They're working on putting the final touches, which is seaming the standing seams on the metal roof. Next. And Jared, this one's for you. He's all tied off, safety, and no, you can look at this one. I wouldn't have put it.
This one makes my
He's
legs
covering it.
quiver.
This one, he meets all OSHA code. So, but that's him running the seamer. You can see these guys. It's like second nature to them working on the roof. That's 3 stories up. Next. This is Central Lafourche. They're now putting on the cap sheet. So the base sheet went on. That's the darker sheet or roofing you can see in the picture. Now they're torching down the white granular cap sheet. We continue. That's just the process of them rolling it out and torching it as they go. Next. They still have the perimeter to do, obviously, right? They stopped at that point, and they're leaving off the cap sheet next to the mansard roof because that's part of a change order that's going to be coming to redo that roof, that part that you see in the background of the mansion. I go to middle. We have this building, I'm happy to say, dried in. That material that they have up on the roof is an ice and water shield, and it can be exposed for 6 months. And it's a peel and stick, and believe me, it's stuck. A tropical storm, probably a hurricane wouldn't affect it. So that's good news. The building is totally dried in. Next. And that's just it. From another view, you can see the product. Continue on. That's it. Okay. Just a couple of things to go through real quick. Rose Cutoff Middle School, no pictures because it's really just mostly mechanical work. That work is in or near the substantial completion phase. They're just going through punch list and kind of, just finishing up a few things. So probably today will be our last report on Cutoff Elementary. Or Rose Cutoff Middle School, I'm sorry, Rose Cutoff Middle School. So that one's going to be done. Good news on that one too. North Rose, we have flooring to do over the summer. We have a few campuses where we'll be doing summer work. Galliano's another one, cut off. What's the other ones? Go to Middle Upper, we have a kitchen hood we need to do. All of that's going to be done during the summer. St. Charles, the new building, we'll talk about that later, right, John? That's going to be part of the recommendations. South Lafourche High School chair and ROTC, we have the demo portion of that has been awarded. They're going to start that work next week. Should be finished demoing ROTC chair in about 3 weeks. And then we'll start gearing up for the new building. Also, we'll be talking about more, not so much tonight, but go to middle, the new addition or the new classroom, and then also Bayou Buff Elementary, right? That's a big one. So we'll be sharing more information. We're getting close. We had a programming meeting with Bayou Buff a couple of weeks ago. Andy has started, hopefully, some schematics, right, on what it's going to look like. And when we have that, we'll present that to you guys. Maybe not next meeting, but for sure by the following. We'll start looking at those projects. Okay, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
On another note, all the projects we have going on are going to be kind of paused for leak testing and stuff like that, right? So just a heads up, next month we're probably going to be coming to ask for days for these contractors, right? And it's part of the process. We shut them down, so we owe them days. Won't be any cost associated with it, but we will give them days for the contract to complete.
Make sure to tell Mr. Henry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, item 4 is new business. A, to receive a report from lead accountant Shasta Chasson in reference to ongoing project budgets. Ms. Chasson?
Good evening. Our major construction fund has 2 bond referendums. The 2017 bond has a total referendum of $19.4 million. The total budgets for these projects are $19.4 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances are 17.8 million. And we have all funds obligated to specific projects at this time. The 2021 bond has a total referendum of 49.4 million. The budgets for these projects are 49.4 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total 34.7 million, and we have all funds obligated to specific projects at this time.
Thank you very much. Item B, to consider a request from Ball Form Elite, which we did go ahead, it was opposite, we did correct it in our paperwork, to waive the fees for the use of facilities at Raceland Middle School and Lockport Middle School gyms for basketball practice. Can I get a motion? Motion by Ms. Bourgeois, and I'm gonna second that. And we have Mr. Dillon here tonight just to tell us a little bit about his program.
Good evening. My name is Ashton Dillon, resident of Lafourche Parish all my life. Started this travel basketball organization 8 years ago. We're happy that all the kids that started with me graduate this year. So, nonprofit organization, just trying to keep the kids doing something positive. I've been coaching for 21 years. Yeah. Youth basketball, so I like it. I have some coaches that love it. So just need someone to practice, and that's the biggest thing. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. First off, do we have any public comment? Okay, do we have any board discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say, Ashton is a great asset to Lower Lafourche. He was a great basketball player in school. He went to South Lafourche High, and the kids like him. He also referees basketball games, so he's always in active around the kids and stuff. So.
And their insurances have been approved.
That's the question that I usually ask.
We got it a little bit earlier today.
Awesome. Any other board comments? Thank you for doing stuff for our
Thank
kids.
y'all.
We keep them busy, we keep them healthy and safe. We appreciate you. Okay, any further comment or discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Item C, to consider a change order request for various Hurricane Ida repairs at St. Charles Elementary School. So moved.
Yes, Madam Chair, the recommended.
Seconded by Ms. Bourgeois. Okay, that's okay. You can go right on ahead.
The recommended action is to accept the change order request for various Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $25,742.20 and a credit of $1,128.15, and to add 19 days to the contract for repairs at St. Charles Elementary School. The breakdown is $25,742.20 for additional roof damage that were damaged that we discovered after, and the credit is for bond refund of the amount of the bond.
I just want to clarify something. It says 90 days to the contract.
Yes.
So 90, not 19. 90
Okay.
days.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. Okay. Any public comment? Any board discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. That motion passes. Item D, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs at La Rose Cutoff Middle School. So moved. Seconded by Ms. Bourgeois.
Recommended action is to accept the change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $1,403.60 to modify the ceiling to accommodate the new HVAC system at La Rose Cutoff Middle School.
Any public comment? Any board discussion? With none, we'll vote. Motion passes. Item E, to consider bids for St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition. So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Bourgeois.
The recommended action is to accept the low bid from 4A Contracting Group LLC in the sum of, patient with me, $5,382,300. Alternate one, which had a price of $225,600. Alternate number two, which had a price of $227,100. And alternate three, which had a price tag of $167,000, which totals for the project $6,002,000 for the St. Charles Elementary School addition. We have Mr. Justin Cortez to speak to the bids.
Good evening, board members. Yeah, we took bids on this project, and I think we had 4 complete bids submitted. The first 3 were all very close. The last one was a little high. But we did have a good tight range on those, so we felt that it was competitive, and it was a good bid on that day for this project. So we're recommending to accept the base bid with all 3 alternates. Let's change order for this next.
Any public comment? Board discussion? Bourgeois?
This is going to be the permanent classroom that allow the modular. Okay.
And more. The scope of this project is upgrades to the existing old building in the front, civil improvements throughout, and building a single point of entry new building where we have that modular, right? So it's a very all-encompassing project. I'll kind of stop rambling and let Justin explain what this is.
That's fine. Actually, this
You did
project,
design it.
yeah, we started design on this before IDA. So we started kicking numbers around with Evan back then, doing some preliminary design. Then IDA happened, and we had to put the modular building in to do the repairs to the inside of building number 1. So that kind of threw a little monkey wrench into that. So we adjusted the design to be able to get this building to fit between the modular building and the new building. So it was a big puzzle over there. So we did a lot of that. But the intent is to have the modular building, once this building's completed, all those students move back into building 1 in the new building. And then y'all can, grab that building from the side.
Mr. Moore is exactly right. It's the entire campus, this project, from the new admin building, the new classrooms, a pavilion covered, kind of like what we have at Lockport, in the playground area, addressing drainage, addressing parking, trying to get the traffic of the parents where they no longer have to stack up on the side of the road. It's a comprehensive for the whole entire site.
Okay.
But in the graphic that y'all showed us, it had the driveway or the parking going down the side and back up to get everybody. I remember when we looked at that at a meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big point of contention. I remember that. Yes. Thank you so much. Any further comment? If none, we'll vote. And that motion passes. Thank you very much. Item F, to consider a change order request for St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition. Motion. So moved.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bourgeois.
Yes, ma'am. The recommended action is to accept the change order request in the sum of a credit of $575,980.51 for VE, which is value engineering, at St. Charles Elementary School Classroom Addition. Mr. Justin Cortez can speak to this too.
So that project did come in above the opinion of probable cost that we presented. So we did work with the contractor directly after the bid to work on some VE items, which is essentially going through the project with fine-tooth comb and finding things we could swap out, materials, small design items that won't really affect the overall project. You're probably not even going to notice the things that we've changed on this project. But in doing so, we were able to get a credit working with those guys and our consultants and engineers of $575,980.51. And that's across the whole board, the base bid, and then we even had some savings with alternates 1, 2, and 3. By doing this, it's going to bring the total contract project amount down from 6,002,000 to $5,426,019. And then it's kind of a mix of items. We had some architectural items that totaled, I think about around $20,000 that we were able to change. Mostly material changes, with some roofing items, some storefront framing, civil items. We changed some types of pipe, some drainage grates, concrete fencing, geogrid, that, came up to a list. We have a list, I think, included with the change order for y'all to review. And then we had some plumbing items. And I think our biggest item was an electrical change for the intercom system. And again, like I said, on alternates 1 and 2 were items to add all the parking and driveways to the project. So we were able to go through that with our civil engineer and make some design changes, or moving from rebar to some keyway joints, which saved some substantial money on those 2 items. And then finally, on alternate number 3, pre-engineered building, the contractor was able to find a manufacturer who met our spec, and they were $18,000 less, so that was some good savings there. We proposed to use them as well, so that all totaled exactly what it was, $575,000 credit. If y'all have any questions about any specifics, I can explain those.
Any public comment? Any board discussion?
I want to say thank you for going through that, like you said, the fine tooth comb and giving us a good credit.
Yes, we really need to thank Forward Construction and all the subs that sharpened the pencils, to really help the district.
If no further questions, we'll vote. No further discussion, we'll vote. And that motion passes. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Item G, to consider a change order request at Lockport Upper Elementary School Single Point of Entry Project. So moved. Second by Ms. Bourgeois. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the recommended action for this is to accept the change order request for repairs in the sum of $104,369 and add 60 days to the contract for security fencing at Lockport Upper Elementary School as part of the Single Point of Entry project.
Any public comment? Any board discussion? If none, we'll vote. That motion carries. Item H, to consider a request to hire Vado Engineers Incorporated for the high school stadium's spalling repairs project. So moved. Second by Ms. Bourgeois. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the request to hire Vado Engineers, Inc. to begin the design work for high school stadium spalling repairs project in the OPC sum of $2.8 million.
Any public comment? The board discussion, I would like to just remind everyone, can you just give us a repeat performance on spalling so that everyone knows what it is?
The concrete stadium has rebar inside of it, and over the years, rain and weather and everything else is getting into the concrete, and it's starting to rust and it's starting to expand, and that expansion causes the concrete to crack, which is what the spalling is, right? We are, and I'm speaking as a non-expert, we aren't in any danger of a stadium falling down, right? This is all cosmetic stuff, but the scope of it and the size of all of our stadiums, right, that we're very lucky to have here, is what's really driving the price up on this. None of this is on the ground. All this is overhead. They're basically going to come in, clean them, treat them with an adhesive, and then reapply a mortar over it. Now, this will address seating. This will address fencing. This will address some handrails as needed, right, on all 3 stadiums. This will be a top to bottom, comprehensive. Let's get the stadiums, in shape for the long term.
Chairman, so is the seating, I don't know if you guys have been, I know you all have, but the the aluminum seats and the fasteners below them are a problem throughout the district. They all move and they wobble. That means that all of these are going to be taken off. New fasteners put into the concrete and then reattach the seats. So it's a big price tag. This is a rather big project. So we're calling it concrete spalling, but more than just concrete is going to be addressed in this project to John.
And this is all gonna be able to be done during the summer? Or
not during football season.
outside of football season?
No, one of the things we're gonna have in the scope of work is not to interfere with any of the activities there, right? And I'm pretty sure this can. We're doing a separate, smaller project to address the areas of immediate concern. That should be happening within the month. It's under, state contract pricing, that amount. So we're gonna do our normal procurement of 3 prices, and go through that way. That'll address the main areas. All this other stuff, I don't see where the contractor can plan around it.
Between summer and then between football and track
Right.
seasons or?
And even during football season, each high school only has 5 home games. So as long as the bleachers are usable during those moments and the crews are out, we're good. But in the effort of full transparency, we've got some problems in our stadium right now that we're already mobilizing to correct using the standard district, getting 3 quotes because it doesn't meet the threshold for board approval. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is board approval for this more comprehensive project. We've got some caution tape around some stadiums right now where it's not safe to walk below it because pieces of concrete large enough to cause injury have occurred.
And you are fortunate to have our stadium, so we need to make sure that we're taking care of our investment. Any further board discussion?
Once we get, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Once we get the project designed and bidded and all that, I'm gonna bring in Mr. Battle. Definitely, once he has his full plan, right, to come and explain, and we'll have some drawings and everything, right? This is just to get the ball rolling.
Anything further? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. And that motion passes. So with no further business, we'll go ahead and we'll